Aloha, everyone. Coming back from the Memorial Day weekend, it was a pretty ugly session. We'll start it off with the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ continues to just grind it along in a uptrend that's very, very choppy today, with it dropping 1% on higher volume. It registered a technical distribution day. This index recently went back to a buy mode, but obviously after today, we have to say that we're basically neutral mode again. A move below the 50-day moving average will move this back to a neutral mode, but for now it remains under buy mode. But let's be honest, the market is very choppy right now, and it's hard to really be too confident in anything. The NASDAQ 100, similar situation. You can see by looking at the oscillators, nothing's too bullish, nothing's too bearish, so more chop would not surprise me whatsoever. The S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average had a little bit more of a rough session compared to its average true range over the recent 2 months. S&P 500 drops hard on heavy volume and distribution day, but once again, with it holding above the 50-day moving average, we'll keep this one under a buy condition, but it's looking a little iffy. And if you look at the New York Stock Exchange, that index closed below the 50-day moving average on heavier volume. Oscillators don't look that great, but don't look that bad, but overall, it's going to switch this one back to a neutral condition. Dow Jones Industrial Average also nearing a neutral condition, as it's riding right at this 50-day moving average. Every time we dip like this, we bounce, but, we'll see what happens. I'm majorly in a neutral camp here, just waiting to see how everything goes. But one thing I would think of is that if the economy was really healthy, we wouldn't see this chart, the Dow Jones Transportation Average, selling off again, making new 2015 lows, and it looks like it's completed a rollover top, and the 50-day moving average, I believe, has crossed the 200-day moving average today. I can barely tell, but I believe it has. I can find out on this thing if I bring it up really quick. Let me find this out. DJT, Dow Jones Transportation Average. That's the 1-minute chart. I want a daily, and let's see what it tells me. The 200-day moving average is 8744. 50-day is 8741. So we have an official death cross in the Dow Jones Transportation Average with the heavier volume breakdown to new lows. So that's pretty ugly, and I don't see how that's good. Dow theory says that if the Dow Jones Industrial Average is making new highs, the Dow Jones Transportation Average should be too. So this has to be seen as a negative. And on that note, with the markets looking a little bit weak, we already have a TZA position working. What's left in the DRV, half of that still working. But now UVXY is giving me a signal to go long, some volatility here. With the surge in BOP volume right off the lows, UVXY made a 1% account capital signal by being on the ETF scan, and confirmation 1% added for it being in the price volume BOP surge scan, obviously, with everything surging today. So 2% of the account capital into UVXY due to the weakness in the market. And speaking of the weakness, we had some sells today. Tile hit 50% of my sell stops. You can go ahead and use the lows back here on the remainder of the position, but Tile is a 50% sell. ALLE also hit 50% of my sell stops. You can raise the final sell stop, which I have right below this low, to today's low a day, which is what I'm doing on ALLE. And HELE is a 50% sell based on end-of-day basis. It did not hit any of my sell stops yet. I'm going a step further on this one, and 86.72, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all of it if it moves below that low. I might still keep it below 86.15, but I don't think there's any point. The catalyst was the strong BOP and strong price action with the volume, and it's been going sideways too much with internals deteriorating. You can see that TSV, MACD, stochastics, and RSI don't look healthy either. So HELE, 50% end of day, but I'm moving up my final sell stop. And then FDEF, similar situation. This is a 50% sell on an end of day basis. However, I will just be selling it all with a move below 37.48. So I won't be selling 50% in the morning, but if it moves below 34.78, I will be out of all of my position, as that is now the final sell stop. So we'll see what it does. And then MLM intraday hit 50% of my sell stop, but by the end of it, which was right below this low here, but by the end of the day it reversed, but might as well just go ahead and disclose that. And then ABC is technically a failure, but once again, my final cut loss is back here at 112.56. So my new final cut loss is 112.81, and move below there, and I'll be out of ABC, but technically ABC full sell signal on an end-of-day basis with this break below the 50-day moving average. And then nice, ugly reversal. Still holding above, the signal date, but I don't care. We had a decent gain in that, and it just got destroyed in basically 3 sessions, with it falling nearly 7% in those 3 sessions. So nice is a full sell technically on an end-of-day basis, just due to the velocity of the sell-off. However, once again, I will be using the low of day of today's intraday session as a final sell stop. So if it moves below 62.22 intraday, I will be all out of nice, and that sucks considering the way it was acting when we first went long. And you think besides all of that, we wouldn't have any long signals, but we actually do. Kirkland's Incorporated, a home furnishing store, not originally as I thought Kirkland brands from Costco, is giving a buy signal based on being an earnings winner. Kirkland was an earnings winner on the 21st. It consolidated for 1 session on Friday with a nice intraday reversal off the lows on decent volume, and now it's breaking above the intraday high of that session, which was 27.81, closing at 27.89 on another surge in volume, with BOP surging to a higher green level. We do not risk much if we are wrong. What you could do, and what I'll probably do, is on an initial basis, final sell stop will be below 26.37, but you could split it up between 26.37 and 26.95. But Kirk is going to be a 2.5% position because it's a can slim quality stock. But unfortunately, Kirk is not confirmed anywhere else. Or fortunately, if we're wrong, which in this market we very well could be. And momentum continues to happen intraday. Momo continues its momentum move upward today. ONTY also, and PBMD was the one that we were looking at intraday, and we nailed that short whenever it reversed back from 435 back below 380 where it opened, and it will close at 297, almost a nice move of $1 from where we originally intraday said that this was breaking down the short. We also posted on Twitter, but overall the market is very choppy and very mixed. I don't see how anyone can really be bullish here or bearish. Stay neutral.